Whenever I upload a new idea, I like to give an example of what it could be used for. But in this case, I got nothing. Literally nothing. It serves no purpose. I don't even know what you could possibly... Here's what it looks like once it's built. The vines grow down at a very rough rate of 3 blocks per hour and fire a bud switch once they reach the bottom. The line of redstone you see leading back up to the vines leads to a piston that resets the vine once it's been fired. Now that you know the basics, let's get started on building one. First, we'll build our bud switch. If you don't know, a bud switch is a redstone-ish contraption that fires whenever the trigger block is updated. You can think of it like a button, where instead of right-clicking on the button, you just place, remove, or edit a block in the trigger spot. It's kinda complicated to build one for the first time, so here's a couple still shots. A bud switch is only 2 layers. Here's how the bottom layer is set up. The boat actually needs to be placed up top and then pushed into the pit. And here's how the top layer is set up. The top layer only consists of 3 solid blocks, a piston, and a water source. Now, let's place a marker for our trigger block. This doesn't affect how the machine runs, but I like to include it just for illustrative purposes. Next, we'll place a vine on a solid 6 blocks above our trigger block. I use signs to prevent the vine from growing all willy-nilly and messing with growth rates. It's not necessary to destroy the blocks leading up to the top vine, but I like to, just because I like the look of standalone vines. If you want to make the machine automatically reset itself, place a redstone line leading from the output to a piston pointing at the second highest vine block. When the machine fires, it will delete all the vines and start the timer over again. Here's what it will look like once the vine reaches the trigger block. Now, here's a couple things you should know. Vines grow an average of 3 blocks per hour, but they're very inconsistent. Sometimes they grow faster, sometimes slower. This means that the longer your delay, the more consistent times you will have. The largest and most consistent timer you could build with this design would be an 85-hour timer. I'd show you a clip of what that would look like, but I don't have 85 hours to spare. So, here's a chicken. Vines are very fragile. Keep them away from fire, and yourself if you're playing on creative mode. One wrong click can undo hours of growing, and there's no way to place vines in the air once they're destroyed. Now, possible uses. I guess you could use it to time... I don't know.